Well, I got the truck registered a couple of days ago, took it out for its maiden voyage yesterday to go get ice cream with my family. And now I'm gonna do a few more things to get it better. It's not bad. The 4.3 is definitely a bit of a dog. These tires scare the crap out of me driving on them. I went on the highway just for 2 exits and it shakes a little bit around like 50, 55. So I think there's a couple things. One, I think because these tires are just so old, they might be out of round a little bit from sitting or something. Even though they're radials, they can get, kind of crappy or flat spots in them. So I got new tires. Those are 275/60s. The ones that are on the back of this right now are 295/50s, which I like the wider tire, but they're a little bit short. So I'm going to do back tires today. The exhaust on this, because right now the factory exhaust is just dumping under the bed and it's way too quiet. I'm cutting the exhaust off, and I have one of 2 systems I'm going to put on it. It's either going to be a 30-inch long glass pack, or I'll run a 2.5-inch turbo muffler on it. But overall, the truck actually drives pretty good. It is a little bit squishy. The suspension on it is extremely soft, not what I'm used to with a pickup truck. Even an old square body, they're usually a little bit stiffer suspension, and this one is definitely not stiff at all. One other thing I've noticed, I had to put the wheel spacers that the guy gave me with the truck on, because the front wheels do actually hit the control arms when you're turning. They're okay when you're straight, but if you turn the wheel more than about halfway in either direction, they rub. So I do have to clearance the control arms, but for right now I put on the wheel spacers. One thing I noticed, and I don't know if it'll come across in the video or not, but this wheel sits in further than the driver's side one. Like almost an inch is what it looks like. So if you look at it from here, you can't see the wheel sticking out of the fender when you're level with the top of the fender. On this side, like if I dropped a quarter off the top of this fender, it would actually bounce off the wheel. So I know this truck was hit in this corner and the bumper got pushed into the fender. So it's possible that the whole front end of the truck is scooted over a little bit. So if I loosened up the core support bolts and shoved the whole nose over a half an inch or so, it might fix that. And I might do that at some point. You can tell too, the gap at the top of the fender up here is a little bit bigger than it's supposed to be. So that could mean that the cab is, the nose is shifted over and it popped this fender out a little bit. But I guess time will tell. A lot of little things that I'll figure out as I drive it. Stuff I need to clean up, stuff I need to tighten up and fix. But for now, I'm going to get started on the exhaust, see where that leaves me today, and then get my tires mounted, which easy peasy. I'm good at doing tires. They're pretty quick. And then maybe if I get to it, I'll grind the control arms and try to see about loosening the nose up and shoving it over. But got that new bumper on there, nice and straight. That was a good deal. Traded a 4-speed shifter for the bumper, the dome light, 2 radios, some felt pieces for the doors. And what else did he give me? Gave me something else, but a whole bunch of little parts that I needed to do. Oh, the 2 front trim rings. So got all that stuff. All the lights work on the truck. The speedo works, the gas gauge works, and I'm working on putting different gauges on the dash. I haven't done an update on this since last week, and I've done a lot of little things since last week. So I took the bezel out and actually cut out the back of all of these holes so I can put 2-inch gauges in here. And I've been sourcing a whole bunch of Make Waves gauges. So it's not going to be this Sun Pro, but I've been sourcing Make Waves gauges that have chrome bezels on them and orange needles so they'll all match. And then I painted the needles on my speedo and my gas gauge with bright orange model paint. And it's getting there. Crappy thing is I have a dirt driveway, so every time I get in and out of this truck, I'm getting it filthy, and I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can with the floor mats the guy gave me with the truck. But who knows, maybe I'll get some Weathermaster or something floor mats for this so I can actually keep the dirt out of it. I couldn't hook my horn up when I put the steering wheel in because I didn't have the right installation kit. And one other thing, I like this steering wheel, but I think it's too small. Like, this truck needs a 15-inch steering wheel. That's like a 13.5 or a 14-inch steering wheel. And it actually, I like the steering column being straight the way it is, and it interferes with the gauges a little bit. So I might get a bigger steering wheel eventually, or maybe I'll put the factory one back in. I don't know yet. I just don't like the factory one. If I was going to run a GMC wheel, I'd get one out of like an 89 or an 88 Blazer, or Jimmy, I should say, that has the 4 spokes on it. Maybe I'll put one of those in because They're a lot better than the one that I have. And some odd things, I got the dash in here. It doesn't quite fit properly. So like the bezel doesn't go all the way back in where it's supposed to. And I think maybe it's because this dash was sitting for so long that some of the vinyl might have shrunk, or maybe it's an aftermarket one and it's not quite the same. It doesn't have the clips along the top of it that scoot in underneath the metal part of the dash. So maybe it's an aftermarket, I don't know. But for now, it's good enough. It's definitely better than the one that was in here. And, you know, as time goes on, I'll get all those little things ironed out and get everything kind of stuck back where it needs to be. But man, this thing, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I threw a spare tire in here just because I didn't know if the backs were going to blow up, and I got a jack and an air pump in here. So this is how I was driving it yesterday. This thing is going to be so awesome. I'm stoked that I finally got another square body. Well, if you ever wondered what a gutless 4.3 sounds like with no exhaust at all, I'm going to answer that question for you right now. Not good. Almost sounds like a V8, but not quite. So I was either going to put a glass pack or a turbo muffler on it. I honestly think I'm going to stick a turbo muffler on it because 4.3s don't sound that great to begin with. Boy, is this thing running rich. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll slap one on, listen to it, and then slap the other one and listen to it and see which one I like better. That's probably a better choice. So let's see. All right, so this is a 4.3 with a 29-inch long glass pack and no tailpipe on it right now. See how it sounds with this. Probably crappy. Actually, now that I hear it, I think I'm going to put a glass pack on it. But let's try the turbo muffler anyway. That's really quiet. Remarkably, hopefully it's not so hot that I burn my hand. I just put it on. Nice thing about the glass pack, it matches the truck. Let's try the turbo muffler too. See how that one sounds. All right, lastly, Cherry Bomb, no, Thrush turbo muffler. Glass pack sounds better. Yep, glass pack. Ironically, the 30-inch long glass pack sounds better than the Thrush turbo muffler does, so that's what I'm going to use. And I'll save the turbo mufflers for my big block because, oh wow. These things neck down to like 1 3/4 on the inlet. So I may not be using this. I might return this actually, because these are like 55 bucks and I never realized how much it necks down. This is 2.5 inlet and it necks down to like 1 3/4 or maybe 2 inch. Yeah, that's no good. That's not going on a big block. That's a restriction. All right, I'm going to admit this is not my finest work, but I have a piece of 2.5-inch pipe coming off the main Y pipe, a 29-inch long Cherry Bomb with a straight piece of pipe after it into a 90, and then a piece of 3-inch pipe booger welded on that comes out in front of the rear tire. When I say booger welded, it is booger welded because as I realized when I was starting to weld it, I was basically welding galvanized and stainless steel pipe, and I had to fill a gap, so I had to use a piece of metal that I had in the garage, and The welding is terrible, but if nothing else, there's so much weld on there. If this thing ever got close enough to the ground to hit the pipe will act as a skid plate. But let's see how it sounds just set up like it is now. So again, keep in mind this is only a 4.3 V6, but it should sound much better than it did with the factory pipe anyway. This thing runs rich. Nice. Well, that'll last until I get the big block in. Well, I've gotten done about all I can get done for today. I'm just exhausted. It's like 82, 84 outside. So the exhaust is all done for now. I got the back tires mounted. Oh, I got to cut off that old exhaust hanger behind the wheel too. But I got the rear tires mounted. They're 275/60 15s. They're a little bit shorter than I remember. They're about a little over 27 inches tall, which is about the same as what the 225/70s in the front are, but I don't like those tires on the front. I don't know why. Just on a 8-inch wide rim, the sidewalls bulge out and I don't like it. So I'm either gonna get 275/60s for the front as well, or maybe a 255/60 for the front or a 245/60. I could go about a ½ an inch shorter in the front so the wheel gap is more similar. Or I could get a 255/70 for the back, which is what I had on the back of my Bel Air. They're about a ½ an inch taller than a 275/60, and they're just about a ¼ of an inch narrower, but it might look funny with wider wheels up front, even though they're shorter. I don't know. I think way too much about tires. You guys have no idea. But that's about all I'm going to get done today. Did get a bunch of stuff done. The exhaust was a big one for me. But the tires being done, that's a little bit better peace of mind. I'm going to throw the old ones out by the street for free because, believe it or not, people actually still run them even though they're really dry rotted. And they did hold air, so if somebody wants them, it's their risk, you know. It's coming along. I'll give it a couple of weeks and I'll order the front tires for this. But like I said, I got to ponder what size. I might go with a 245/60 or a 255/60. That's what it had before, was a 245/60. And they're not quite as wide as the 295s. Obviously, those are about 12.5 inches wide, but 275/60 is a good compromise tire. It's a good height, has a good amount of sidewall, and it's a good width as well. So I'm pretty happy. One other thing I noticed last night, this whole bedside on the driver's side has been replaced. It has a totally different like profile on the lip here. It has like an extra roll mark on it. And I also noticed down here, if I can get it on camera, there is a manufacturer's mark right here. I don't know how well it's going to come across on the camera, but there's a manufacturer's mark right here, and I believe this bedside was manufactured in 2004. But the main reason I realized this is because if you look down the top of this thing, it kind of rolls out. Why my camera's not focusing now. It kind of rolls out a little bit, right where the stake pocket is, and the other side does not. Plus this one, it looks different. So I think I need to put something in that stake pocket and kind of tweak it in a little bit and kind of push down on the top rail. It also looks like it has a bunch of spot welds going down here on the side where the factory one does not. I'm pretty sure this is a factory bedside, but again, doesn't really bother me. Maybe that's why it looks like the truck's been repainted. Maybe this whole bedside and the cab and the door have been repainted. But it is what it is. I mean, it's still a nice truck, and I'm still more than happy that I did the trade for the Bel Air. Wah! I just fell in a hole. Don't step in holes like that. But yeah, I think it was still a good trade, and I'm looking forward to my future with my C1500. So just another short little episode of Cranky Motorsports. Nothing totally crazy today, just a short little fun video. Still have to fix my gas door. It pops open when I'm driving, the spring's missing, but it's just a clean truck. I mean, honestly, I pulled up to the cruise night last night at the ice cream place, and immediately somebody came over and talked to me, and he talked to me for a good 20 minutes or so. And then, throughout the night, a few other people that I knew came over and talked to me for a while. So even just driving it around town, it's getting a lot of attention. So I'm happy to be back in a square body. People love these trucks, and so do I. So thanks for watching Cranky Motorsports. Catch you next time.